Please share to keep these stories alive. So once, when the world was younger, there was a little squirrel. Oh, and he was such a handsome little squirrel. He had such a long, beautiful, silky smooth tail. He had such soft, calm eyes. Squirrel was just such a laid-back little guy. Then one spring, he met what was soon to become Mrs. Squirrel. Oh, and she was beautiful. And they fell so madly in love, and she was so beautiful, in fact, that it wasn't too long before they had little squirrel babies. Oh, and it was so wonderful to have these little squirrel babies. They were so pretty with their long, little silky smooth tails. And then winter came, and this was a hard winter. It was so cold, and Squirrel could just not find enough food to feed that many mouths. He was so used to just feeding himself. Oh, and some nights the baby squirrels would cry out in hunger, and it would hurt his heart. Mrs. Squirrel would sob, and it was so hard for her to not be able to fill the tummies of her babies. And it hurt Squirrel so bad to see his family hungry and crying. They made it through the winter, but Squirrel said, "Never again will my family go hungry like this. Never again." And so he dedicated himself to searching for food, and he would store that food, and that was all that his mind could think of. Never hungry again, never hungry again, never gonna hear them cry again. Can't allow it, can't survive it, can't do it. Just must not, can't do it. And his eyes began to widen and get big as he searched for food, and he would hide it, and he would hide it, and oh my God, he was just so stressed out, and he was so chaotic, just gotta find the food, and bury the food, and take the food, and get the food, and find the food, and bury the food. And then he would get so freaked out that his fur began to stand on end, because one day he couldn't find where he stored the food. He was so stressed out, and so lost in finding the food, and preparing the food, and burying the food, that he forgot where the food was. Oh my God, so he's more stressed out. And his tail began to stand on end because he was just so anxious and all the time running back and forth. Where's the food? Gotta find the food. Bury the food. Hide the food. Where did I put the food? I can't remember where I put the food. Oh no, I gotta start another cache. Look for the food. Find the food. Bury the food. Oh my God, this poor little squirrel. He'd come home and his fur would stand on end. And his wife, she began to get so worried about him. So I have to help him. I have to help him. Oh, my poor husband, look at him. He's coming home and he's all frazzled. His hair is standing on end. So she began to go with him. Find the food. Look for the food. Where's the food? Find the food. Bury the food. Find the food. Bury the food. Until she too, her eyes widened, searching. And her fur began to stand on end as well. So anxious were they both in making sure there was enough food, so lost in their fear where they would forget where they hid it and had to start an entirely new cache of food. And winter came again. Oh, and it was so hard for the squirrel family trying to find the food, and it was another hard winter. The rabbit family, they had a hard winter too. And while Father Rabbit was out looking for food, he found one of Squirrel's cache, and it saved his family. Bear was able to find one of the caches and was able to go and hibernate well in safety. Oh, it was so good for Bear. Badger found one of the caches, and it saved Badger and Badger's family too. While Squirrel family had to live on one cache through the winter, but they made it. When spring came around again, they started to get fearful again. Gotta find the food, bury the food. Know where the food is, remember where the food is. Until one day, Father Rabbit saw them rushing back and forth looking for food and the way they were burying it, and said, "Brother Squirrel, last winter I found one of your caches and it saved my family. Thank you so much." And the squirrels looked at him and, "What? Yes, my family was able to eat last winter and fill their bellies because of you. Thank you. But his brother Rabbit looked at the squirrels and he saw them with their big eyes looking. No longer with their smooth, silky fur, their fur standing on end in anxiety. He said, Brother Squirrel, do you rest? Do you enjoy your children? No, I can't. I can't ever hear their cries of hunger ever again. I won't do it. I can't survive it. I cannot listen to my wife cry like that ever again. We almost starved. And Brother Rabbit looked at him and said, Dear Brother Squirrel, did your family go hungry last winter? No, they did not, thank God, but it was because of such hard work that we had. We found it, we had our cash. Brother Squirrel, can I ask you something? Yes, what? We need to go back to looking for food. Brother Squirrel, why are you so focused on the fact that your family was hungry instead of the fact that you all made it through the winter? Yes, you cried, and yes, it was hard. But you did have just enough to eat. You all lived. Why do you not look at the fact that you all lived so that you can calm yourselves, so that you can enjoy your life and enjoy your children? You're so afraid of starving that you didn't see that you didn't starve. Brother Squirrel, I will put down tobacco for you. I will sing songs for you, and I will pray that you are able to work, but you are also able to rest and enjoy the life given to you by Creator. This is the story that I wanted to share today because it seems like everywhere I see there are people that are suffering from anxiety. They are so focused on survival that they're not living. The amount of medications that are out there to help people contend with these feelings. See, when we see Squirrel now, we see his bushy tail and his big eyes. He is actually a lesson and a reminder to us to play. He is a lesson in playfulness, because to this day, Squirrel has that bushy tail and those big popping eyes, so nervous, running around, twitching his tail. Because yeah, you know what? Like us, he lived through a trauma, but instead of seeing that he lived through that trauma, he dedicated himself to fear. I can't ever go through that again, and I will do whatever is necessary, including not live and enjoy my life to prevent something bad from happening. And I am not seeing that I came out of that thing, that I am fine. I made it. It was a hard time that passed. Let us remember Brother Squirrel, and when we see him, to remember to be playful, to enjoy the life we work so hard to build and to maintain, to choose to be happy and grateful for what we have. It doesn't mean that we don't work. We work, but not to the point that that is everything, that survival is just everything for us, that we can't see anything else but the next possible bad thing that can happen. That we live our lives according to not ever having to experience a pain that we experienced in the past. That's not living. It's not living. And the silliest thing that I realized yesterday, talking to a friend of mine, struggling to just let ourselves be happy. How can we be happy with so much bad in the world? So many people suffering, so many things that we need to do, so much going on in our lives. How can we sit here and just be happy? It's like, it's kind of funny that people go to the doctor because they're depressed and they're anxious, and they get these medications and they take these medications that make them feel better, maybe feel a little bit happier, and they go, yes, it's okay that I'm happy and I'm feeling good now because this drug that I am taking is making me feel that way. But if you just see somebody that's just happy for the sake of being happy, well, that person's got to be high, right? Or they've got a dissociative personality disorder. They're dissociated from reality. Wow. So we need a drug so that we can choose to feel happy? That drug being the permission slip that makes it okay for us to be happy? Because I can't possibly be happy unless I'm high? Oh, wow. That is what that is. Yeah. No. I don't know about you, but I'm going to learn from Squirrel. I'm going to remember that this thing almost happened, but it didn't. That I can work hard and I can still play and I can still enjoy my life. That I can choose to be happy even when there are things that I can focus on that would make me unhappy. Even though there are things wrong in the world, I can still choose peace. And I don't need a drug as permission for me to be able to feel safe choosing that peace. So much love, relatives. And when you see Squirrel, thank him for the lesson to remember to play, remember to enjoy. Because honestly, when we work so hard and we're so stressed out that we forgot what we ate, we forgot what we did, we forgot what we went, ooh, then how can I deem it worth it? Just a thought. So yeah, much love, relatives. Have a beautiful day.